वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण to all the assembled devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय श्री प्रभात की जय. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so we'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. कथंचन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्य नमामि तं. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Okay, I see some new devotees today. Thank you for joining. Okay, so anyone would like to give a quick brief of what we have covered in the last class? Geeta Mata ji, Saurabh Prabhu ji, Sindhu Mata ji. Okay, so okay, so let me give what we have covered. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. And I would request devotees to please come on video for whomsoever it is possible. With your facial expressions, I come to know whether whatever I'm saying is been understood by you or not. So it helps me. Okay. Is the screen visible?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you for confirming, Mataji. Okay. So basically, if can anyone tell me why this third chapter started? Like what was discussed in second chapter because of which Arjun had a confusion. Anyone would like to try? Even if it is wrong, not a problem. Shruti Mataji, would you like to try?
Yeah, the 5 reasons because of which Arjun was confused whether he needs to fight the compassion, the sinful reaction, detachment,
Enjoyment,
enjoyment,
Destruction of family.
destruction of family traditions, and
Indecisiveness.
indecisiveness.
Yes, so that happened in first chapter. Okay, first chapter Arjun gave these reasons and he was confused. Then in second chapter he surrendered to Krishna and he asked him to guide him as a guru. Right, he surrendered as a disciple, not as a friend but as a disciple. And then Krishna gave him various knowledge, the knowledge of soul, the knowledge of various like Nishkam Karma Yoga, what is Buddhi Yoga, and then what are the characteristic of a self-realized person. In all these discussions, Krishna was again and again glorifying Buddhi Yoga. So Arjun got confused thinking that by using intelligence, he should avoid this sinful action of killing people, and therefore he should renounce. But then Krishna is not saying to renounce. Krishna is again and again instilling him to that you should fight. So he got confused whether he has to do his karma or whether he has to renounce, like which is better. So therefore, this third chapter starts with this Arjuna's confusion that whether renunciation jnana is superior or action karma is superior. So then Krishna gives him the knowledge that Nishkam Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga, right? Because many times what happens, like in general, there are two types of spiritualists. One are the Jnana Yogis, other are the Karma Yogis in material sense. So Jnana Yogis are who? Those people have by default detachment towards material activities. They are not, they are by default attached to renounced life, right? And they are totally unattached to the results of the activities. And the karma yogis are who? They are attached with the results of the activities. So what happens is not everyone is on a Gyan Yogi platform. In general, maximum population is on the karma platform. So if a person does premature renunciation, then he degrades himself. Like for example, if someone has not renounced himself, like he's not renounced from the results of his activities, he's still attached to the results. But if he becomes a baba and he's giving benedictions to people, and if he's trying to showcase himself as a sadhu, what happens is in his mind he is contemplating on the sense object. But in reality, has he like he's pretending to be a sadhu, he's pretending to be detached from those sense objects, right? So this is called a pretender. In sixth verse, Krishna says, because he has done premature renunciation, he's a pretender. Instead of that, we should become a sincere person and we should do our duty without getting attached to the result. Now, someone might have a question that it is very difficult to do activity but not be attached to the result. So then Krishna gives the idea of karma kanda to karma yoga. Okay, in these verses, he tells that why it is very important to do karma yoga, because basically what happens is everything that man is getting to be happy in this world is coming through sacrifice, right? We understood the cycle of sacrifice here, that if you do sacrifice, whatever you have got, you perform the sacrifice for it, and then because of that sacrifice, the yagya, the demigods become pleased and they give rainfall. Because of rainfall comes the food grains. Now when we offer this again to Krishna, that is called a sacrifice. So this cycle goes on. We are doing the sacrifice, demigods are becoming pleased, they are giving rains, from rains come food grains, again those food grains we are offering to Krishna as a form of gratitude. That is also, and we are also doing harinam. In that way this cycle goes on. So for a man to be happy in this world, he still has to do sacrifice. It's not like he will be happy just on his own. So here Krishna, in this whole section, Krishna is giving that knowledge of how you can be happy in this world by doing karma yoga. And now in the 17 to 35 section, what Krishna is doing, this section we are doing right now. Here Krishna is telling that a self-realized person, although he's not bound, here what we were seeing, that if we do not do the sacrifice, we are bound to get unhappiness. But a self-realized person, a person who is already on the realization of knowledge, he's tattvavit. We will be discussing the tattvavit today in 28th verse. Okay, so how this person is not actually bound by any reactions to the work. He's already doing everything for Krishna, but he still works. Why he works is because he has to set an example. And why we have to set an example? Because that is a general tendency that common men follow a great person. Yad yad acharati shreshthas. Right? So whatever a leader does, a common person follows. So that is why Arjun is a leader. He's the one of the best Kshatriyas. So if he will prematurely renounce his duty of fighting, and if he'll go to the forest with a begging bowl, then by default, all the Kshatriya class would be affected. Many other immature Kshatriyas would start leaving in the name of renunciation, right? In the name of like showing false compassion. So that is why Krishna is giving him examples, that it's not like only I'm giving you a particular philosophy which is not which is not practical. Janak Maharaj, he gives the example of Janak Maharaj, that even he has done this. He was totally liberated. Now, father of Sita Ma, a person whose son-in-law is Lord Ram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that person is already liberated. But still, he's performing all his duties of king so that he does not set a bad example. And then to even stress on this point that not even Janak Maharaj, Arjun, even I am engaging in work. We discussed how Krishna is, after going to Dwarka, he is actually doing all his activities. He's not entitled to any duties, but he's still taking care of his wives, his children, giving them all facilities, keeping them in good palaces, doing all yagyas, giving charity to brahmanas, getting up early in the morning for Mangal Aarti. So Krishna himself is doing everything, right? So then Krishna is giving why this, because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If he does not act in a way, common men would take it in the wrong way, and then they will say that if this person is, if the leader is not doing, then why we should do it, right? And if and he then he tells that if he ever fails to engage, then everyone would follow the wrong example. We discussed a lot of points here, that how people try to imitate the Supreme Lord instead of following him, and that you can see in the previous videos. Okay, now this from 25 to 29, this section that we are going to cover today, it's on attached worker and detached worker, a karma kandi and a karma yogi. So it may seem very similar. Someone might say that, okay, this person is also someone who is attached to his family, someone who is attached to his work, attached to so many things, right? So a person who is attached, he's also eating, he's also sleeping, he's also going for work, he's also having a family. Similarly, a detached person is also having, because he's a karma yogi, he has not renounced yet everything. So then what is the difference? So here we'll discuss those things. That in 25th verse, we will first discuss that how they are acting. One is acting with attachment and another is acting without attachment, to set an example. Okay, so first of all, I'll just take a pause because I guess this was the whole chapter overview. Do you have any question here of why this particular thing was discussed, or which particular verse, if you're having a doubt in third chapter? Okay. So silence has two meanings. One is you don't have doubt. The other is you're not understood. So it hardly means that you have understood everything. So chapter is technical, I understand. It is not something which if you just hear, if you just keep this class on earphones, you would be able to understand everything. You have to sit in front, open your book, go back and study during the 1 week time, right? So, okay, no problem. Just go through this chart after this class and then try to link it by reading the translations. Okay, the translation of the third chapter, then you would be able to understand the flow of the chapter. Okay, so let us move ahead. Yeah, so we discussed this in the last class. Like there are different practitioners on the spiritual path. Karma Kandi, Sakam Karma Yogi, Nishkam Karma Yogi. Both of them fall under the Karma Yogi. And there is a Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yogi is basically doing everything in for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. But in this process of performing work for pleasure of Krishna, he is neither attached to the nature of work, which means if we tell him, Prabhuji, please wash the toilet, he would be happy doing that. If we tell him go and preach to 1,000 people, he would be still happy. So he's not attached to the nature of work, neither he is attached to the result of the work. Okay, let's say if he is, just a second. So basically, what is he's not even attached to the result of the work. So now, if let's say if he's performed a particular seva, but he has been chastised, he still able to see the hand of Krishna in it. And he's not, he will not become morose or disappointed and he'll say, no, I will never do this seva now on. Okay. So in this way, he's not attached to the result of the work. And if he goes for preaching for 1,000 people and let's say just 2 people came, he would still be happy. Because Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj says that if no one comes, you should preach to the walls, right? So he's just pleasing the parampara. So he'll not be attached with the result, neither with the nature of the work. Although all the other practitioners, they are either attached to the nature or they are attached to the result or both. Okay. So in that way, this is how we have to understand where we are. And in the spiritual practice, the ultimate goal is to follow the ideal path of bhakti yoga. So how far we are from here and how much we should be trying to get it. Okay, so moving ahead. Okay, so let's first go through the words. Okay, so would like to read the verse.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Shall I read?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
3.25.
Yes.
Shaktaha karmani avidvamso
Saktaha karmanya avidvamso
yata kurvanti bharata
yatha kurvanti bharata
kuryad vidvams tata shaktas
kuryad vidvams tatha shaktas
chikirshur lokashangraham.
chikirsur lokasangraham.
Translation. Praise Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Yes.
Purport
So this
also,
is the
Srila-
same thing. Just a minute, Madhavi. We'll first discuss and then we'll go to the purport. So what Krishna is saying that the ignorant are performing their duty with attachment to the result. And the learned may similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path, right? So it's very evident that what Krishna is saying that their activities are similar, but the intention is totally different, right? One is totally attached to the result and another is not attached to the result because that result he is giving to Krishna. And he's doing that just to set the right example for the people. So two types of people discussed here, okay? Advivamso is the ignorant who are performing their duty with attachment, and Vidwan is the learned, okay? And then someone might ask that how come this detachment is coming from? Like where from this detachment is coming for the Vidwan? The detachment comes from knowledge. Once we try to understand this knowledge in the bona fide sampradaya, this bona fide sampradaya thing we would be learning in 4th chapter. Not far from now, after this 3rd chapter completes, the 4th chapter starts with this, the disciplic succession. So when we are hearing the knowledge in the bona fide succession, then by default from this gyan, vairagya comes. From this knowledge comes detachment. So it's not like with this detachment, we will leave everything and go away, but we will become detached with the results. Let's say when I'm trying to give this class, if I am also trying to learn this Bhagavad Gita, which I'm trying to explain to you guys. So now when I see that if I don't get much response in the class, I would still be fine because I am doing this as a service. If I get good response, if let's say suddenly 50, 100 people start to join the class, I would still be happy because, okay, somehow I'm able to deliver the message properly. So in that way, whatever activity that we are doing, it's not becoming detached does not mean we have to leave everything. We are still doing everything, but we are not becoming attached to the results. Okay. So now what is happening is the ignorants are trying to enjoy. This enjoyment propensity is so difficult. First of all, to understand that this person is always in the mood of enjoyment, you still have to become a bit spiritual. Let's say when we come to spiritual life and we start chanting, reading, hearing every day, associating with devotees, you would be very easily able to make out by just seeing the people around you who are not in spiritual life, how much they are attached to the results, how much they want to enjoy. If they are cooking something, they want it to be super delicious, otherwise their enjoyment will not happen. If they are going out, first of all, going out in itself, that's an enjoyment, because they're so happy, so excited before going out. Okay, we'll be going to a movie, we'll be going to an amusement park, we'll be going this way, that way, eating out, so many other things. So this enjoyment propensity is so degrading. It is not just degrading for that one person, but for the whole world. How? Because all the havoc that we see in this world, it is because the people are wanting to enjoy. All the different types of pollution that are happening, the way the environment is going down, everything that is happening is the result of the enjoyment propensity. And you can easily see that, let's say a devotee is creating a temple, he is building a temple, and a person in that similar place, we have a very big place. Now in that one big place, let's say if we give it to a materialistic person, he would let's say build a very big hotel. That hotel would be used to like serve wine, meat eating, like people are coming, gossiping, every activity which is basically leading to frustration, which is actually making people suffer on the long run. So that person used the same things, the cement, the construction workers were the same, the building was created. So the activity remains the same for this materialistic person. And when a devotee is creating, he is also using the cement, the workers are there, he's also trying to build, right, a building. But then that building is basically a temple. He is building for whom? For the pleasure of his guru, for Radha Krishna. And that person is building for what? To earn money, right? So the whole activity seems to be similar, but the result is totally different. When a temple is created, actually, in real sense, people become happy. It is for giving ultimate happiness to everyone. And it is also for the service of Krishna, because the knowledge of Krishna would be spread. So this is what we have to understand from 3.25, that Krishna is trying to explain Arjun that there is very fine line difference between a karma yogi and a bhakti yogi, right? But we have to understand that the actions are very similar of the ignorant and the learned, but the results, the attachment towards the results is totally different. And we also have to understand the different aspects of yoga. So we initially discussed yoga ladder, if you remember. So there is a Gyan yoga, right? So Gyan yogi is basically who is detached from the material activities and the results. A karma yogi is someone who is following scriptures and he wants to give some portion of the result to Krishna. So basically, he's partially detached from the results of their activities, right? We also discussed an example, if you remember last time, that a person comes to a brahmachari and he asks for some seva. That brahmachari gives him a seva, and he says, no, the brahmachari tells him that, okay, you can bring in some bags, right? So he says that, okay, I will bring bags, but then he brings in the bill with it, that, okay, can you please pay for this? So the brahmachari gets shocked that, okay, I thought he's doing seva, he's not attached to the results, but he's very much attached to the results, right? So he is on the platform of karma kanda, sorry, sakam karma yogi, right? He is giving some service, but he is also attached to the result. Then comes a person who says that, I want a seva. So now this, sorry, I'm really sorry. I just got confused. The first person was on the level of karma kanda because he wanted the result, the full result for it. Then the second person who comes in, he says that, Prabhuji, I want some seva. And then Prabhuji says that, okay, will you charge for it? He says no. So now then Prabhuji says that, okay, can you clean the temple? So he says, no, I will clean the Lord's vessels, right? The vessels which are used to offer bhoga to the Lord, I will clean them. So he is attached to the process, right? He's attached to the activity. Although he's not attached to the result, he's doing as a service. So he's not wanting anything in return for it. So he's Sakam Karma Yogi. He's giving some portion of his result to Krishna. Then comes a Nishkam Karma Yogi. So now a person comes, he says that Prabhuji, I want some seva. Prabhuji says that, okay, do you want a particular seva or will you charge for it? He says, no, whatever seva you want to give, whatever, I don't want to get anything in return. So then Prabhuji tells him that, okay, you do this, and he's happy doing that seva. So which comes in Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? And then comes like for the pleasure of Krishna, like one who is doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna, that comes in Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so these were the yoga ladders. Those people who are not following scriptures, those who are totally engrossed in sensual pleasures, and they are very much attached to materialistic activities and their results, they are basically in animalistic life. Okay, now someone might say, no illicit sex, no gambling, right? But he's still attached to the results very much. Okay, he's not able to give up the desires, materialistic desires that he's having. So can we say that he has become a yogi? No, right? Because he has just come up from the level of animalistic life. Many times what happens is devotees think that if we are following the four regulative principles, then we are into spiritual life. No, that is out of out of animalistic life. But you have a long way to go, right? Because we are not doing anything for Krishna. We are just following the basic don'ts. We are not doing those don'ts because we think that, okay, that will make me spiritual, but that's not spiritual. That is just a good person, right? A good normal person is you will become a human being if you follow that four regulative principles. And if you do not follow that four regulative principles, we must understand we are still in the animalistic life aspect of the yoga ladder. Okay, so I guess the purport was remaining. We'll go through the purport once. That's a small one. Yes, Sindhu Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji. Text 25, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person in Krishna consciousness and a person not in Krishna consciousness are differentiated by different desires. The Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not conducive to the development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act exactly like the ignorant person who is too much attached to material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification, whereas the other is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna conscious person is required to show the people how to act and how to engage the results of action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Right. Thank
So
you.
I guess this is clear. This was a simple verse. Any place,
Yeah.
anytime, if you think that there is a doubt, you can definitely let me know. Okay, so let's start with the next verse, which is 26th. Okay, who would like to read now?
Can I, Mataji?
Sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Na
Krishna.
buddhi vedam janayed
Na buddhi bhedam janayet
agyanam karma sanginam
agyanam karma sanginam
joshayed sarva karmani
joshayet sarva karmani
vidwan yukta samacharan.
vidvan yukta samacharan.
Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, translation.
So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, what we were discussing in the last, just a second, in the section we were seeing that 26 and 29 is basically what Krishna is describing, that how a detached worker deals with an attached worker. And 25, 27 and 28 are the verses where Krishna is describing the difference between the attached worker and the detached worker. Okay, so 25th we understood that they act similarly, but they are attached and unattached to the result respectively. In 26th, we are now seeing that how how a detached person should deal with a attached person. Okay, so if a detached person, let's say, if there is a person who is very much attached to the materialistic ways of life, and if we try to give him a lot of knowledge, just give me a moment. I'm really sorry. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so basically what we were discussing is that this person, what he does not disturb the ignorant. Now, what will happen? Let's say, for example, if a person is very attached to his work and he's doing it very passionately, okay, and now you go and you tell him that, okay, why do you have to work so much and this and that, and this is all waste, this is all temporary, whatever result you are getting is all bounding you up. So now he becomes very disturbed, because what happens is he has not got a taste for spiritual life. He has not still got frustrated in material life, and you tell him that whatever he's doing is faltu, it's all nonsense. So what will happen is now he doesn't want to do his duty which he was doing it before, and he doesn't know what to do in spiritual life. So he becomes a lazy person, right? And this disturbs their mind. They don't understand what is life for. So we don't have to give a high dose to a person who is extremely into material consciousness. So this is what we have to understand. This is basically a verse for the preacher. A preacher has to understand how this message should be given so that it helps them, it enhances their bhakti, and it does not disturb them so much that they are not able to advance at all. Okay. So, like we discussed in the last verse, Krishna gave this knowledge of how a knowledgeable person works and how an ignorant person works. Now, Arjun might have a question that how a knowledgeable person deals with the ignorant person, because anyhow we have to deal, right? So then, this is very important to understand that every person has a speed. Not everyone is on the same track of spiritual advancement. Let's say there is a batch of 20 young boys who got a DYS, who got enrolled into a DYS course, Discover Yourself. All 20 in external sense, they started their spiritual life together, right? But it might happen that after a due course of time, let's say after 5 years or 2 years, right? Someone might be doing 16 rounds. Someone might not be interested in spiritual life at all. Someone might know, but he's still attached. He's still having material desires. He want to follow both the things, right? Everyone will have their own speed. Why? Because this is something which we are carrying from our previous lives, right? So it is not like everyone will be on the same platform at the same time. No. So based on the person's position, a direction must be given to him so that he's gradually able to get detached with the material things and get attached more and more to Krishna, right? So there are three types of people basically. One who don't believe in Shastra at all, The second category comes in that they believe in Shastra, but they don't follow. There are many in this category that they believe, they will say that, oh, Bhagavad Gita is very important. But do you read Bhagavad Gita? No. Do you know anything on Bhagavad Gita? No. Right? So Sanatan Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. But when it comes to knowing Sanatan Dharma, they don't know anything. Right? So there are many in this category. Then there are people who believe in Shastra, but then they do sense gratification. Right? They are knowing the Shastra, they are doing the karma kandik yagyas and all, but then everything is done for what? For sense gratification. Krishna is giving this knowledge. Like, Krishna is not addressing the first two types of people in this chapter. He is mostly addressing the third type of people. And he's saying that those people who are still so much attached to the sense gratification, they are still better than the other two. But you have to come above that. So the last category is someone whom we can elevate to Krishna consciousness gradually. Okay. Yes, so this we discussed that if we directly ask materialistic people to come on the platform of Jnana Yogi, what a Jnana Yogi does. Jnana Yogi has left their home. They are totally into austerities. They are not many of the times they are not wearing clothes or wearing very minimal clothes. They are into the Himalayas. They are doing a lot of austerity, eating once a day or not eating at all. So if materialistic men are told to perform such austerities, they will get. But Bhakti Yoga is something which is so powerful that even the most sinful person, he is also able to do the devotional service. Like we see what Prabhupada did. When Prabhupada went to the West, was it like he was getting very pious brahmanas in his classes? No, right? No. Prabhupada was preaching to drunkards, to meat eaters. All the four regulative principles were broken by them. So, was there any qualification of those people to become devotees or to come into spiritual life? No, right? But then, why we understand that this Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that just by engaging them in their natural activities, let's say, George Harrison, he is singing, right? He's already singing. So, Prabhupada is engaging him by letting him sing devotional songs, right? When he sang Hare Krishna, when he sang like along with Yamuna Devi Dasi Mataji, Her Grace Yamuna Mataji. So, Govinda Madhi Purusham, in houses and houses, those audios were played. So, his preaching is to follow what his guru is saying, and the guru is saying what he's not saying that you leave your career altogether and you stop singing, you stop doing concerts. He's just saying that, okay, instead of singing materialistic songs, you just sing Krishna, Hare Krishna, right? So in that way, a guru knows how to engage his disciple so that he is gradually elevated. Okay. And then by doing these devotional activities, gradually with time and sincerely following the practices, then his heart would be so purified, then he would be able to get detached from the result. So how we have to preach is very important. Okay. Yeah, this is one example. Generally, people think that coming to spiritual life is chodo ghar bar chalo haridwar types thing, right? This is what has been preached through the movies and materialistic platforms a lot. And that is why when someone joins the temple, their parents start crying like that, oh my God, this person has gone away. He'll not even contact us in his whole lifetime. That's not the case, right? But there's a notion among general people that if someone is going to spiritual life, he will leave everything. So if some person comes to temple and he says that I'm extremely frustrated, this whole life is misery, and I've understood that only Krishna is the permanent person, and I should not be engaging myself with all this materialistic activities. I want to join the temple. So please let me in. So what has to be done with such a person? The authorities tell him that you please go back home, you perform your duties, and you please come to classes every Sunday or every day. You come to Bhagavatam classes. Okay. What happens is, let's say for example, if a boy comes to a girl and he says that I love you because the whole world has like all the girls in the world are improper. I don't they're totally bad. So I love you. So will that girl be impressed? No. she would be like, okay, you don't like anyone in the whole world, that is why you're coming to me, right? This is not the case in spiritual life. This way it will not work in spiritual life also. If we come to Krishna saying that the whole world is faltu, I don't want to engage in this material world because everyone is giving me misery, therefore Krishna, I will come to you. Krishna will give us a kick and he'll say, go back. Right? If I love Krishna, it does not matter where I'm placed. I would still be happy in loving Krishna, right? If a person says that I love you because of your qualities, irrespective of how the whole world, even if the whole world is filled with more beautiful girls, better in quality, better in speech, better in communication, better in everything than you, still I love you because you have so and so qualities and I am attracted towards you, then that girl would be impressed, right? So similarly, when we go to Krishna, whether I am happy, distressed in any walk of my life, if I'm always seeing Krishna's hand, then Krishna would be pleased that this person actually loves me. He's not loving me because he's getting frustrated in material life. He's loving me because he loves me from his heart. But then Krishna becomes happy. So this is how we have to understand this whole concept of leaving everything and coming to spiritual life. It will not last long. Even if a person comes in this way to temple, even if the temple authorities let him in, what will happen after some time? He will start remembering, oh, my wife, however she was, but she still used to cook 2 times good food for me. When I used to come back from office, she used to say that, oh, you have come back, how was your day? She was not that bad, I must go back, right? This will happen. This will happen. He will not be stable in spiritual life. So we have to understand, negativity is not Krishna consciousness. Pure positivity is what Krishna consciousness is. Okay, so therefore it's important to do our duty and simultaneously gain knowledge. Then we are able to move ahead in spiritual life. Okay. Okay, so moving ahead, 3.27.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Antaji.
May I give? But
Yeah,
my
you,
all
you have a
purpose
question,
I
you can
thought
ask.
it's Hindi session. So I opened only reading only shloka, okay?
Okay, yeah, yes, Mataji, please. Just a second, I'll scroll up.
Shlok number 27, third chapter. Prakritehe kriyamanaani gunai karmani sarvasah
Gunai karmani sarvasah
ahankara vimodhatma
ahankara vimodhatma
kartahamiti manyate.
kartahamiti manyate.
Repeating again. Prakritehe kriyamanaani.
That's all right, Mataji. We can just read it once
Okay.
with respect to time. Yeah, you can read the translation.
And translation is in Hindi, so it's better that you study.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Sure, Mataji.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So this is a very important shloka. And if possible, you should also learn this and repeat it almost every day, because this happens with us. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Because of the ignorance, vimudhatma, fools like us, what we think, what I think, I would say for myself, what I would think when I'm doing some activity, I would think kartaham iti manyate. I would think I am doing this, I am the doer. But in reality, what is happening? Gunai karmani sarvasa. Basically, we are under the control of material modes of nature. And they are controlled by whom? Material nature, right? Prakritiya kriya manani gunai karmani sarvasa. All these modes are under the control of mother nature, material nature. So let us first discuss that there are three types of doers, right? Ignorant person is thinking that he is the doer. But who are all the doers as per the Shastras? So there are three types of doers. One, like one is the soul who is desiring an activity. Okay, let's say I am desiring, I want to eat an ice cream. Okay, so that's my desire. Now, based on my karma, material nature, Prakriti will provide the facility for it. For example, if it is in my karma that I can have that ice cream, then I will not have a tooth pain, or I will not have, let's say, if I want to just go out to buy that ice cream, but let's say my leg broke, or let's say I'm not having petrol and that shop is far away, or let's say I'm not having money. So all these facilities that are being provided based on the law of karma. If the law of karma allows me to have that ice cream, then Prakriti will give all those facilities. Okay. And the last doer is the Paramatma. He is the overseer and the approving authority. If he allows, then material nature is giving us the facility, and then we are able to fulfill our desire. So it's not like if I desire, I would be able to fulfill it everything. Like the people who are nowadays, law of attraction, everywhere you would just hear law of attraction. If you just even go to YouTube to hear a lecture, 1,000 times that ad would come in between law of attraction. So people are not able to understand that they are not the only doer. There are three doers, and the ultimate doer is the super soul. Okay, so now if someone thinks that law of attraction is all in all, and if I desire very intensely, then I would be able to fulfill whatever I want to. But then we see that it does not happen. There are so many boys who actually wanted some girl, and they even cut their nerves and wrote a letter with blood, with their own blood. But then did they get that girl? No. Which means that they had so much of intense desire, but was it fulfilled? Because it was not in their karma. So the law of karma is above the law of attraction. Okay. The law of karma is on the Prakriti level, and the law of attraction is on the soul level. So we have to understand Prakriti. Krishna tells in 7th chapter, Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. This material nature is under this is my energy, right? And it works under me. So this is Krishna's energy, which means it is very powerful. And we cannot say that law of karma is wrong, right? Because it is Krishna's energy, it is perfect. Just like Krishna is perfect, the material nature works perfectly. So if a person is getting something based on the law of karma, he cannot say that I must not have done so bad that I'm suffering so much. There are people who say this, इतना तो बुरा नहीं किया होगा ना माताजी के इतना सफर करना पड़ेगा. But that's not the case. Whatever we have done, it is coming back to us. Then who are we to question the working of material nature, right? So then the material nature is the second doer, and the third doer is the Paramatma, right? He is the ultimate doer. Okay, so now what happens is, we understood that this is law of karma. Now let us understand what is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is also called as the yoga of love, because when we come in relation with Krishna and when we love him, Krishna being our ultimate father, right? He's Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha, right? So he is our ultimate father. So Krishna being the ultimate object of our love, if we are doing everything for Krishna, let's say as per the law of karma, I was to become very rich. But once I become rich, I would become very loose in my bhakti. Krishna will not give it. If he sees that this person is sincere and he can become a good devotee, and because of the law of karma, if he becomes very rich, then he will not become, he will lose his sincerity in Krishna consciousness. Krishna will not let that happen. So the law of love overrules the law of karma. Similarly, if let's say if I am in a particular situation, and as per the law of karma, that situation is going to get degraded, right? I have to suffer even more. But based on Krishna's understanding, if basically if I get out of that suffering, I would become even more serious in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will remove that suffering. So it is totally, Krishna knows what is good for us to move up the ladder, move ahead in spiritual life. And therefore, this law of love is basically something which will override everything else. So that is it's like we can understand if someone is having direct connection with PM Narendra Modi. So will he be accounted, like will he be taken by the local police officer or the lawyers? No, right? He is directly having connection with the PM. So the PM will take care, okay, he's my person. You just let it be. I will look after him, right? Similarly, Krishna is a supreme lord. So he will say, okay, material nature, Maya Devi, let him be, let it be. I will take care of him, right? There is a very nice example. So don't take it literally, this example, but this happens with sincere devotees. So there was a brahmachari in temple, and he was very serious, very nicely doing his bhakti. And like someday he got to know that he is having brain tumor. Okay, so now he was still doing his bhakti. He was not that affected. He was grateful. He was fine with the situation, and he was taking his medicines. After some time, that he got through an operation, and the operation was successful, and he was back in the ashram. After some time, what happened? He was going out to preach, and then there was an astrologer, and he saw his hand, and he said that, how come you are alive? You should not be alive by this point of time. That's not possible. So he said, wow, how come? So he said that, no, your lifeline is not that much. So then he thought probably he is not that good an astrologer. So he thought to consult someone else to see what was that. He got to know the same information from 2 3 more astrologers, that his life was not that long. He should have been died by that time. So finally, he understood when he consulted his Guru Maharaj. His Guru Maharaj said that that is Krishna's will. Who can do what, right? So the law of karma will not work when Krishna wants to keep you alive. If Krishna sees that, okay, you can go back to Krishna in this life by following Krishna consciousness, then he will give you more years to practice bhakti, right? So it's not like only bad things becoming good is Krishna's mercy. Even good things becoming bad is Krishna's mercy. We have seen in Bhagavatam, right? Ajamal, he was a good Brahman, and he degraded himself to associating with a prostitute, having multiple children, becoming a thief, so many other things. But then what happened, right? Krishna's mercy is that he got some association from sadhus. Those sadhus gave the name Narayan to his child, and based on his previous karma and Krishna's mercy, he later realized. And then when he realized, when he got the second birth of not getting taken away by the Yamadutas, then he actually became serious and practiced bhakti, right? So we don't know how Krishna's mercy can come. We can fall down, and then we can rise up, and we can probably, we are in whichever situation, from very bad situation we can go up, right? So anything can happen. So this is what we have to understand. Karta ham iti manyate. Ignorant person will think that I am the doer, but a knowledgeable person will have the knowledge of these 3 doers, right? Vidwan will say, मैं भी करता हूँ. I am one of the doers. And the ignorant person, he will say, मैं ही करता हूँ, right? I am the only doer. So this is the difference between both of them. Okay. So now some very basic questions. What if I desire too much? And you all have to answer. What if I desire too much? That dialogue is there, right? किसी चीज को बहुत शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात आपको मिलाने का whatever. So कोशिश करती है. So what they are saying is, if you are desiring too much, then the whole universe will manifest it for manifestation. This manifestation is going on too much nowadays. So you tell me, what if you desire too much? Will it be successful? Will you be able to get it? I want to see some hands, some responses.
Is it material desires you're telling, or spiritual?
Anything. Okay, you tell me about, okay, you let me, whatever you want to answer. If you want to answer about material desires, you tell about material desires. Okay, Twinkle Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, from my experience, I'm saying we will be distressed, more attached, and frustrated.
But will that desire be fulfilled?
No. Most probably no.
It can be, it cannot be.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is the deciding factor?
Krishna will decide.
Now we discussed, right? There are 3 factors. So the
Past
super soul
karma.
should allow, the super soul should allow, and the material nature should also provide, right? So ultimate cause is Krishna, right? See, we have to understand there is an ultimate cause. So ultimate cause is Krishna, but then there are operational cause, right? Operational cause is the material nature. She will make the things happen, right? How is the desire being fulfilled is by material nature, but it does not depend on my desire alone. If someone says that if you desire too much, desire too intensely, and then it will definitely manifest, that's not true. It can, it cannot, based on both these things, right? Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Rohini Mataji.
Mataji, on this topic of desire, isn't it something like if a person desires it more, the subtle you carry it to the next birth, and then kind of Krishna fulfills it? That too happens, no? Because there's also, I heard from one Guru Maharaj saying that, yeah, it may be fulfilled, but not in this birth, and then you don't know whether it was good for you. So Krishna is
Yes.
just fulfilling it because you had desire.
Right. For example, if a person is desiring to be very rich in this life, but as per his karma, he should not be getting so much of money. How much he tries hard, how much he does, right? How much he's working extra hours, he's pleasing his boss, but he's still not getting promotion or hike or anything, right? But because he had this desire so intense, probably in the next life he might get it. But that also might not be for long, right? Because just no one can get a rich family from birth just like that. You also have to do some pious karma from karma kand perspective. Then only, like if you have given charity, then if you have given a lot of charity, then you get birth in a rich family. Or if you have done very nice deeds, right, very pious, very lot of puja yagyas, then you get a good background, brahmanical background in your next life. So your desire might get fulfilled even, let's say, for some time, but possibly not in this life if it is not as per your law of karma. Yes, Sindhu Mataji, you have a question?
Mataji, I just wonder. I mean, this is so. I've always thought about this. No, one example is my school friends. I'll just quickly tell it off. School friends' mother, father. What happened was, after so many obstacles, they joined. Actually, he was madly in love with her, and then he was hospitalized. And he said, if you don't say okay, then I will give my life like that." So finally, they got married, Mataji. So how?
Saying that's another question that we'll be discussing now.
Okay, no, I'm just saying desires are, that aspect. Suddenly, this example struck me.
It can be in the law. It can be as per material nature. If it was there in their destiny that they are going to get married, even after a lot of struggle, they might get married. And even after a lot of struggle, many people don't get married also. Even when both of them want to, and both of them try for years, but still they are not able to make their family members convinced, and then they are not marrying each other, right? So that's not the case that only desire is something which is driving the result. This is what is being discussed.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, Rohini Mataji.
Mataji, what about people like us? Okay, let me say people like me. Like before coming to Krishna consciousness, there were so many desires, but after coming to Krishna consciousness, those desires like they left, like they just spilled off from the body. So now what happens, Mataji? Will the soul? So sometimes I wonder, will my soul carry those desires because sometime I had that desire?
What does Krishna say in the last verse of in this 18.65, right? Ma Shuchaha, don't worry. What does Krishna say? Don't worry. So Krishna gives us the assurance. When we are doing Ekadashi, what does Ekadashi do? Ekadashi removes all the sinful reactions. It says that it destroys all our sinful reactions. Someone has to got a good faith, first of all, to understand this, that Ekadashi can really destroy all our sinful, whatever sins that we have committed. All those sins would be destroyed, even they are of the size of Mount Meru, right? So all the spiritual activities that we are doing, they are removing that sinful propensity from our heart. Whatever sins we have done, the reactions to them would be destroyed, as well as the propensity to do more sin would also be destroyed by the devotional practices. Therefore, the heart is transformed, right? The heart will not get transformed just like that. So it's not like that whatever desires we had earlier, okay, now we don't even remember what type of desires we had in our previous lives, right? So we do not have an accountability of what all types of desires we are having. Krishna remembers them all. But Krishna makes sure that if we are sincere, he removes all of them. Krishna says, right? Ma shucha. So, sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will take all your sins. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha eshyami ma shucha. You will come back to me. Don't worry. So we have to trust on Krishna. Okay. Yes, Pramila Mataji.
Mataji, what I was thinking is, so finally we have to say that all these desires, having, not having, everything depends on your karma bhala, no? Like according to your karmas.
Ultimate cause. Like I mentioned,
Yeah.
ultimate cause, operational cause. So operational cause is material nature, but the ultimate cause is Krishna, right? Paramatma. He is the approving authority. Let's say if I go to a government official and I say that please take my plea, I want to, like, whatever. Let's say if I'm going to Supreme Court, that please take this case and so and so and so and that. But if the ultimate authority does not approve that, oh no, this is not eligible to come to Supreme Court, then I'm not able to, right? Even though I have too much of desire, even if I'm having all the facility, if I'm having money, if I'm a millionaire like Ambani, still I won't be able to, because it is not coming under the process, right? So material nature will facilitate me based on my karma. If I am entitled to enjoy that particular desire, then material nature will make all the facility happen. Otherwise, we have seen that people, if let's say if I want to drink this, I want to lift up this water bottle, and suddenly if I get a like paralysis attack, I won't be able to lift up this bottle only. So even the small desire of lifting up the bottle will not be fulfilled if my enjoyment was till now only. Let's say my enjoyment was okay. Bhumika, you have lived enough. Now it's time to suffer. So suddenly I'll get a paralysis attack. I won't be able to lift this bottle. Material nature will not allow. Now, whatever types of desire I come up in my mind, I want to desire to go out and to run and to enjoy, right? It will not be fulfilled because the facility of using this body for the enjoyment has finished. So that's the way.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. I knew this particular slide will bring in questions. This is something interesting, right? Okay. Yeah, that's good. If you guys all if you ask questions, even I feel very enlightened. Okay, so the first question was that if we desire too much, do we get it? It can, it cannot. It totally depends on right? It totally depends on my karma. Is it really in my hands to desire very intensely? Let's say, for example, if someone says all these manifestation workshops and law of attraction workshops, they tell that you have to desire very intensely, then you would be able to manifest in your life. If I tell you, okay, desire to eat noodles, desire very intensely right now to eat noodles, will you be able to desire suddenly? No, right? You tell me. Suddenly you will say, Arey Mataji, nahi khana hai. Unnecessarily, why are you making me have this desire, right? So, any desire, nothing can come just like that. See, we have to understand, if it is in my karma, many times I would be by default interested in doing that. Let's say if a child by default, let's say there are two siblings, okay? The elder child is very inclined to studying and he's always studying. He's doing very much hard work, and the younger one is not so much inclined. He always wants to play. So it's not like that. So the elder one is entitled to getting some, let's say, some job position or getting into IIT, which is very difficult. But by default, because he's bound to get that, he will have some type of hardworking nature. He would have that kind of nature through which he can actually do that much of, he would have that much of desire, right, to do that much of hard work to get into IIT. So it's all interconnected. Law of karma is not that easy to understand. First of all, you cannot understand law of karma. It's very, very complicated. One of the example that is given is Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. All those 100 sons were killed in the battlefield. That's a very big loss. That's a very big loss. And for a father to see his 100% die before him, that is very, like, it's very bad. It's a very bad karmic reaction. So he asked that, how can it happen? First of all, having 100 sons, you require a lot of pious deeds, right? And then to see all of them die in front of you, that requires also a very bad karma, based on which this reaction would happen. So now, why this happened with him was, in very, very previous life, let's say you can consider 50 lives before being Dhritarashtra, what he did, he was a hunter and he killed a nest of birds. So that nest of birds, he killed the children in front of the mother bird. Okay, so now when he killed all these children in front of the mother bird, the amount of pain that mother bird got, that much pain he has to suffer. Now, but how is he going to suffer? He has done a lot of pious activities in the coming births. So he finally, the material nature made him get so much of pious deeds, do so much of pious deeds, that he gets the piety to first of all beget 100 sons. Then once he begets all 100 sons, then that reaction would come multifold, that he will lose all of them in front of him. So whatever suffering that mother bird had gone through by seeing all her children die, similarly he had to see all his children die in a go, right? So we don't understand how this law of karma works. If someone would have seen Dhritarashtra in between those 50 birds, he would have seen, oh, such a nice person, he is doing so many pious activities. And when he was begetting 100 sons, someone might be thinking, oh, what a pious person, he is getting so many sons, he would have done so many pious activities, right? But then when he loses them, then finally it makes someone understand that it's not like only pious activities, there are impious activities as well in his account. So we must not get too entangled in discussing how the law of karma works. As I told you, the law of love, the bhakti yoga is much superior than both law of karma and law of attraction. Okay? So when we come to our natural position of loving Krishna, all of this does not matter. Krishna takes care of his devotees, right? Mayapur Gurukul, they take out one yatra every year. So the Gurukul, the Gurukulis, they are very nice, very small children. Okay. Now what happens is 1 month, I guess 1 month, I'm not very sure. 1 month they go out for preaching and they go to different villages. They do not carry water. They do not carry any food with them. Nothing at all. They're just going along with their Guru. And what happens is, let's say when they are crossing villages, they are preaching, they are basically doing it all for Krishna. Krishna makes sure that they get food, they get prasadam anywhere, wherever they go. It is their own, they have shared this experience that it does not happen that Krishna leaves us like hungry. So Krishna takes care when we start following his instructions. So it's not like we have to see, oh, what kind of karma would I have done that I should get food for 1 month continuously, 2 times a day. I should have done a lot of good karma so that I will get that. No, don't take stress of all that. Just do it for Krishna. Krishna will make all the arrangements. Right?
One more small doubt, Mataji.
Yes,
That also, another thing is like, I believe in it, and I think everybody believes. Like, if you're a true devotee and true bhakti towards Krishna, even your bad karma to some extent he reduces. No, there is a
That's
saying
what
that,
we were discussing now when Rohini
yeah,
Mataji asked on the
correct,
bad karma.
yeah,
Krishna takes care of it.
yes,
And
yes,
it's not like it's a gradual process. So see,
yes.
when I come into spiritual life, it's not like suddenly I'll get 4 hands and I become a Vaikuntha person. No, right? There are so many still bad desires in my mind. There is so much complacency, so much laziness. I still do not want to wake up in the morning. I still do not want to chant 16 rounds, right? There are so many complacing things in us. Still, there are so many there. Although we have come into spiritual life since so many years. So all of these things will go away based on our sincerity. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. Krishna says, if you surrender 20%, I will reciprocate 20%. Right? So if I am totally surrendering to Krishna, Krishna will take care of me 100%. Okay?
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay, so this second question was, is it really in my hands to desire very intensely? No. It also depends on how I am, how my nature is, how I am, like, what kind of person I am in this body. Okay. The third question is, what if I don't desire at all? So there are many people, like for example millionaires also, who said that when people ask them what is the secret of your success, like how have you earned so much of money, they say that actually I did not desire so much. I never thought of becoming so rich, but somehow things are working fine by Lord's grace. We are getting good clients. We are building more and more companies every day. So I'm not sure how this is happening, but this is happening. So did they desire so much? No, but this they are still getting, right? So that's not the case that only desire is everything. It should also be in our karma. His Grace Amog Leela Prabhuji shares this example. He says, in my whole family, there is no doctor. And my parents also wanted me to become a doctor. I also wanted to become a doctor. So I was too much engrossed in studying biology and clearing the medical exams. So when he was in 11th 12th, he prepared very nicely for medical exams, and he attempted medical papers as well, and side by side he also gave some engineering papers, right? So he got such a bad college, like he cleared the medical exam, but then that college was very far away, and that too he was getting some branch which is in some quota which he did not wanted, and he gave engineering exam as a substitute. Okay, the year should not go waste, and he cleared all his engineering exams. He was getting the best college in his hometown directly. So he said that it was in my karma to become an engineer. How much I desired to become a doctor, I could not become, right? So we have to understand not everything is dependent on desire, but yes, desire play a role to make us sincere when it comes to spiritual life. Okay. So what if I don't desire at all? Still things will turn the way it should be, but we should still do our duty. We should not become lazy. Okay. And what if I desired and I achieved? Just like what Sindhu Mataji was asking, right? That some two people, one person was desiring to marry that girl, and that girl did not want to, but still, because of his force, they finally got married. So what if I desired and achieved? Does it mean that the law of attraction is all in all? We discussed, right? What was the answer, Sindhu Mataji? Would you like to give the answer? Are you there? Okay, anyone else would like to give that answer? What if I desired and achieved, does it mean that the law of attraction is all in all?
Oh, Mataji, as you said, it is not only about the desire, it is also about the destiny and karma.
Law of karma and the super soul, right?
Super soul.
So both
Yes,
the other two doers are very important. I cannot say equally important, they are much more important, right, than our desire. So although they fulfill, like a loving father, Krishna will fulfill our desires. We have heard that story of Madhvendra Puri, right? I will just repeat it very quickly. Oh, we have gone up the time. I'm so sorry. I did not realize at all. So, okay. So I'll just tell you the Madhvendra Puri story. So Madhvendra Puri is the guru of Ishwar Puri, and Ishwar Puri is the guru of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhvendra Puri, he was such a exalted devotee. He That's a long story. Gopal ji in Vrindavan Dham in Govardhan, Gopal ji came to his dream and he told him that I have been buried here. You please take me out. And then he got the Gopal deity out, and then this Gopal deity was worshipped by many thousands of people. That Annakut festival that happens, right? So it was started in honor of Gopal ji. Now, what happened is that this Gopalji told Madhvendra Puri in a dream that I have been inside underground for so many years, like from almost 5,000 years. Krishna's grandson has installed him. So after that, after so many years, he had come out. So he said that my body is like I want some cooling thing. Like you please get sandalwood from Orissa, right? The best of sandalwood was coming from Orissa at that point of time. So you get sandalwood from there and you apply it on my body, then I will feel cool. So then immediately Madhavendra Puri set out for Orissa. Now, what happened when he was in that route of reaching the place? In between, he got into a place called Remuna. In this place, there is a very beautiful deity called Shirchor Gopinath. So initially, he was just Gopinath. Now, this Gopinath deity, the pujaris used to serve him with sweet rice. And that sweet rice was so tasty. It was very famous. That whole place was very famous for this sweet rice, which was being offered to Gopinath. So now what happened that there were 12 big pots of sweet rice, which was every day offered to the Lord. Now what happened was when Madhavendra Puri was talking, now Madhavendra Puri had taken a vow that he will not beg for food. Like the sadhus, they generally beg for food, and that begging is not for their own benefit. That begging is for the for us, for our benefit. Because if a sadhu takes from us, because we serve the sadhu, we get detached with the result, right? It's not so easy to get detached with the result by our own efforts. By giving charity, we become detached. So this way, but Madhavendra Puri took a vow that I will not beg for food. I will just engage myself in Krishna's service, and whatever comes by Lord's grace, I will take that. So the Lord knew this. No one else knew, because that was a new place for Madhavendra Puri, and he did not ask for food. So now what happened, that he desired that if I get to taste this sweet rice, then I will similarly prepare this for my Gopalji in Vrindavan. It just came in my mind, in his mind. He did not speak it. It just came in his mind. But he became very morose. He said, how can I think about this? It is not even offered to the Lord. The pujari is just taking the pots to the Lord. How can I desire to eat it before the Lord takes it? I'm very fallen, and I'm such a bad person. And he just goes out of that place, and he goes to the forest. So now what happens, because Krishna fulfills his desires of his devotees, what Krishna did is, out of those 12 pots, Gopinath hid one pot behind his dhoti, and all the 11 pots were there. So the pujari took the 11 pots. He did not notice that, okay, one pot is missing. He took all the pots, and then the altar was closed, and he went to sleep. In his sleep, in his dream, came Gopinath, and he said that there is one devotee of mine who is very dear to me. His name is Manvedra Puri, and I want you to take one pot of rice which I've hid behind my dhoti. You take that rice for him, and you go and give it to him. So this person, this pujari, was ecstatic. He said, my God, such an exalted devotee has come to us, such an exalted devotee for whom the Lord is stealing. So he went out in the forest, and he said, Madhavendra Puri, where is Madhavendra Puri? Where is Madhavendra Puri? So finally, he got to meet him, and he paid his humble obeisances to him. And he said that this is the sweet rice which Gopinath has stolen for you. And Madhavendra Puri is crying and crying, and he's not able to understand how much the Lord loves him, right? That small desire, because Madhavendra Puri will not ask for it, right? The Lord knew, and he desired to taste it only to serve the Lord. So his desire was also so pure. So we see that the Lord is very loving. He wants to fulfill our desires, but it is our duty to get his knowledge and purify our desires. That is important. I should not be like that, okay, Lord is my father, he should fulfill all my desires, and I will desire everything apart from Krishna. So then the material nature will take over. The material nature will say, okay, you come under my jurisdiction. You don't come under Krishna's jurisdiction, right? And but when we take Krishna's part, when we totally surrender to Krishna, then material nature takes side. She says, okay, you go to your ultimate master, he will take care of you. So understand the whole thing. Don't understand just law of karma. Don't understand just the desire. Don't understand just Krishna. Understand the whole point. Okay. Okay, so I guess we should stop today at 27. How much I tried that I complete at least 5 verses in a class, it hardly goes to 3. So, okay, let's see if I would be able to increase my speed. But I try to explain all points as much as possible. And yeah, let's see if it helps all of you. If you have any more questions, probably it would be good if we can discuss in the next class. In the starting, you can ask the questions, okay? So, and I really thank you all. I guess we did not read the purport of 27, right? We just read the translation. Okay, next time we'll read. Thank you so much everyone for joining. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to glorify Krishna, to please my Gurudev, to please Srila Prabhupada. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhasya, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaः. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Ananta Koti
Thank you,
Vaishnav
Mataji.
Vrind.
Dandat
Hare Krishna.
pranam.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Mataji, Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mataji.
Krishna.
Very
Thank you,
nice